auger out from the pipe.
Right.
That's going much faster now. This morning, newer plasma cutters have come, and the brave men who are going in there in a pipe with plasma cutters and cutting it piece by piece and taking it out. That's happening now, and progress is faster this morning. Once we've got the auger out, then we can go in and have a look at the pipe and see what condition that's in, and then we can assess what next. As you know, we're about less than 10 metres away, but it's as if it could be 1,000 kilometres away, because we still don't exactly know what's there. We don't know if it's girders, we don't know if it's machines. We've used ground penetrating radar, we've looked ahead, we think we know what's there. But this mountain has shown us that just when we think we know, we don't. So we're being very conservative, making sure no one gets hurt. We don't want to jeopardise the men on the other side as well, so we're making sure they're back. Some people have asked, well, why aren't they digging this way? We say, well, we don't want them to dig this way because the very reasons that it collapsed in the first place might still be there. So we just keep them back, keep them calm, fed with medications, things like that, and they know we're on the way. And I think the feedback that I've got is just knowing that we're here and they're not forgotten, and yes, it's taking a little time, but we're being so careful because we don't want them hurt. We don't want anyone hurt on the way in. And back to when I first arrived, it's everybody home safe and no one hurt. And that's the journey. And as for when we'll be at that destination, I just don't know. Yeah, but that's where we are this morning. We've got multiple options, as you know, up on the mountain. We're on the top of the mountain with big drilling machines. We've got side access as well for a machine there. We've got...
When you say side access, what do you mean?
I mean another, it's called a trenchless machine at the side, and we've got the foundations built, and we're about to head for the tunnel horizontally with the idea of intercepting the tunnel with another door, but at the side of the tunnel.
And which side is it happening from?
That's happening just up the road behind me on the left. There's a little house, little blue house. If you look just beyond that, you'll see the spot. Yeah, so that's where we're doing it. And then, of course, we can also come in from the back, but that would take a really long time, I think.
What I wanted to ask you is that you've seen this tunnel for a while now, and you've been in there and observed everything. Do you feel that the non-existence of an escape tunnel is complicating things, and that should have been there for a tunnel like this, which is 4.5 kilometers long?
Interesting. My personal view is it shouldn't have an escape tunnel at this stage.
Why
because normally you don't expect them to collapse. So normally around the world we don't build our tunnels anticipating them to collapse like this. What we do is we put escape tunnels in at the end so that if there's an incident, then the users can escape. And my understanding is the final design has that. But when we're constructing, we normally don't do that. And even if we have a design that does have, so in some European countries they put in a central tunnel as like a service tunnel. It can be used for escape, but that's not its primary purpose, because we actually aren't planning to have them collapse like this. Having said that, now that we've seen this happen, I think we'll be looking for some looking carefully at what's done here in this very complex geology.
Right, because India's making other tunnels and they have escape tunnels.
Yeah, so
but it seems like that's not...
Yeah, so I haven't gone and done that check, but it might be, and because I'm not from here, it might be just with your very complicated geology that you do it, but internationally, no, we don't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to understand from you is that, they will obviously dissect the whole issue once and why did it really happen. And I believe a lot of activity was happening up ahead in the tunnel, and there were workers farther beyond that, and that shouldn't have happened, like grouting, etc. Right? So is that something that should be probed? Do you think this deserves an honest probe to why this happened and why it shouldn't happen again, and should be averted?
So I know that there's a very thorough investigation going to be made of this. I mean, the whole world is looking, and India is looking as well. I don't know particularly about that issue, but my understanding
is... Would you like
is...
to see the investigation happen because you're here dealing with the collapse of the tunnel?
Yeah, I mean, of course. Otherwise, this is all pointless. If we don't learn things from it, then what have we gained? We've just gained a whole lot of stress and hard work and wasted money and stressed lives and things. So and I know there's an investigation, and it'll be judging from what I've seen, it's going to be a very thorough investigation and lessons will be learned.
Are the investigators inside right now? Are they working alongside you guys, or that'll kick in later?
My understanding is the investigation team were mobilised on day one, just because this was considered so out of the ordinary. So yeah, and I think there will be lessons.
Do you interact with them?
Yeah, they're here. Yeah, I'm not one of them. In some disasters I am. I'm not in this one. I'm here to get 41 men home safe.
Right.
Yeah, and if I may.
Yeah, sure. Carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I do have to go to a meeting now. No, I know. But remember I said I have to go. And yesterday I nearly missed a really, really important meeting and a decision.
If I could just bring in one last question. I've seen lattice garter being used. That's what's coming probably in the way of, the entire... Should there have been ISMB garters used as beams, to erect this tunnel? Because considering that there was a loose portion from 200 meters to about 275 meters, do you think that they should have used ISMB garters instead of lattice garters?
That's a really specific question. So I'm not the designer
But conventionally, when you're dealing with a slightly loose terrain, would you recommend the use of an ISMB garter instead of a lattice garter?
So what we normally do is look at the class of the rock and then work out a support system for that class of rock.
Right.
What we seem to see, what I'm seeing, and I don't know whether this is what the officials are seeing, but I'm seeing, is we may have an unusual situation occurring here in the Himalayas where the class of rock changes, which is not something, it might. Now I'm not, it's because the area that's collapsed...
But that needs to be investigated.
It has to be investigated, and the area that collapsed hadn't collapsed before, hadn't even given any clue that it was going to collapse before. So this is part of the challenge for us in an engineering scientific sense. What is it about the ground here, this mountain, that caught us on the back foot? Why has the engineering not supported the way it should? And the question you asked me before, that might be part of the answer, but I don't know at the moment.
But when you do grouting work, which is essentially pumping cement and water in crannies around the crowbars, if that kind of work is happening, do you conventionally have people working beyond that point in the tunnel, or people usually stay before that? Just wanted to understand that. Yeah.
I haven't worked here, so in that sense, in that operational sense,
but given your experience as somebody who's into making tunnels, what does the convention say?
Yeah, I wouldn't be stressed because I wouldn't be expecting it to collapse. That's what I meant. So normally we would be working in multiple areas. Normally we have a system, so someone's doing, say, reforming, other crews might be putting in electromechanical, people might be doing different things, and we coordinate. But I've never been in a tunnel where, because someone's doing some work at one point, everyone else isn't allowed there. But we're not expecting this.